Hi, it's Claudia, and these are my words of wisdom. Today I'm actually going to talk about the Michael Jackson movie. I was watching it last night, and I got called to speak about it in my words and my truth. As an intuitive, as someone who actually has done mediumship and can connect to souls on the other side, I actually did connect to his soul a few years ago when I was actually watching the documentary. I don't know what it was called, where it was his last, he was preparing for his last concert before he passed away. And I just, it was such a beautiful frequency. It was a beautiful soul essence, very light, so much light and love in it. And I have been a fan for years. I love his music. He was an original, an absolutely, he was a frequency holder. He came here with a purpose. He absolutely did, through his music and his dance. And he even said it in this movie, is that the music and dance can change the world. And he did in many ways. And I actually, even on back in November, I got called to do like a 2 week dance thing and just get out and dance and do these videos. And one of them I actually did to want to be starting something. And I did it in my loft with a flashlight because I wanted to reflect upon shadow, because the shadow of self is something that we need to see. Like what is the shadow within yourself that you need to look at? What are you needing to work on? And we all experience it. We all experience that, the light and the shadow. People say light and dark, whatever. And I might repost that because it was one of my favorite through that 2 week period of time. And I am reflecting upon that, and I really reflect upon, because this movie really showed him growing up, what his struggles, and how he kept going. And it was the shadow and this light, him being the light, and then what were the shadows in his life, and how he had to work through things, how he had to come to terms with his dad, with being in an industry that's probably controlling, and you have to do it this way, and coming in a time where color may have been an issue. It was all these outside things that he had to look at and bring himself back. And as I was watching it last night, I mean, I wanted to go right away, and for whatever, I always believe that things happen when you're meant to, and I actually watched it from my house. The chills, the energy, because I'm an energy healer, I feel energies. I was in constant chills. My head, the energy just expanded. I was just expanded in this expanded energetic state, and I was just receiving, and for me it was like almost an activation of just feeling his presence. And I actually did feel his soul essence with me at times, and really the playfulness. And I felt like that I have similarities. Obviously I'm not the dancer he is, or the singer at any level. Like he was just so superior, and such a beautiful being in his music and his dance. Truly a gift, something that he came with, and something that he obviously was meant to share. But I felt like in aspects of it, because at the end of it was the trailer I watched, I don't know, about a week ago, and at the end of it, it's like, I just want to, have peace, love, and joy, and there's magic. Well, if you've been following me for a while, I'm always talking about peace, love, and joy, and being in magic. And I almost want to get emotional because I feel that. I feel it so deeply. And I felt it from him, and I feel that connection with him. I am a humanitarian. I care about this earth, the people, the animals, like truly. And maybe these videos seem insignificant to you, but to me they are really with messages. of how beautiful we are and how much light and love we have, and that we can do anything we want in this world. We can change the world. We can create something if we come to that light and to that love, and to know our worth, and to know the power that we have. And it's absolutely, this movie came out at this time for a purpose. It's so that we will remember that. I'm loving seeing all these people doing his dance moves. I can't do that. I can dance in freedom, but I used to dance for choreography, but I find it hard to do choreography now. I can't mimic him. I wish I could. I really do. I'm loving seeing these people who do. Like, it brings me such joy. And if I'm going to watch something on Instagram, do I not want to feel joy? Like, everything's a frequency. Everything's a frequency. And we get to choose. Choose it by what you're watching, by what you're bringing into your energy field, the people around you. Whether you're in nature or you're constantly at a computer or on your phone, like, we have that opportunity. How do we want to live our lives? How do we want to create? And he's brought it back. He's coming forward at a time where we need this frequency. We have to remember. And yes, there's always those shadows. There's always those shadows. But we have to learn to overcome them. We have to learn to move through them. We have to learn to accept them, and can we keep going? And I reflect upon in the movie where he's so connected to the animals. He has a snake, which is interesting enough. I had a dream about a snake, and I woke up because it scared me, and it was on my arm, my right arm, and it was just there, but I wanted it off because it felt really uncomfortable, and it wouldn't go off, so I woke up. And to be honest, that is reflective of actually been talking about this, and me feeling Michael's soul, and being able to communicate with him, and it's not everybody has that belief, and I hope I'm doing him justice by bringing forth these messages, because we need this. And he was such a light, and I love his connection to the animals. That's where a lot of sensitive souls feel safe, is in nature with the animals and with the kids, the children. There are sometimes I'd rather play with the children than converse with the adults. I'm going to be completely honest. There are times I'd rather play with the children than converse with the adults. Why? Because they're in freedom. They just live. They go with what brings them joy, what to play, to bring that youth within ourselves, to bring it out. And sometimes the conversations with people, it's heavy. And there's always things to talk about what's going on in the world, but sometimes that can be heavy, especially if we have different opinions. So yeah, my first choice, nature, animals, children. I do love people, and I do love adults. I'm just saying, at times when, if I'm feeling vulnerable or unsafe, those are sort of, I can see where he felt that. I can see where that's where he was drawn. And he kept watching Peter Pan, the book. He kept looking at Peter Pan. I get it, because I feel that within myself. I look at the unicorns and the fairies and the mermaids and the dragons. I believe. I believe in the magic. I do. And so I have this compassion for myself to be so open about it. And I feel this connection to Michael in a very simple way. Obviously, he was worldwide. I am not worldwide. But just being different. And what does that mean? And how to learn to express myself by feeling different. And I feel him right now, and I feel him encouraging me and telling me, he's telling me this is what the world needs. You have to shine your light, is what he's telling me. And that snake is where I feel unsafe to do so. And I have to look at that snake and be okay with it and say, you know what? I'm okay. Because I'd rather live in truth than live a lie. I'd rather live in truth than hide myself. And I do think this world needs more love, joy, peace, people learning to trust themselves, learning to come into their truth, to heal themselves. That's what I'm doing. I mean, he was just brilliant in what he did in the videos, and we needed that. And I think now we need some new ways of doing things. We need to be able to create. But that's trusting ourselves. Can I create something? It's not just me. I think there's many of us. I think we're all here for a purpose, and that we all have power within us, and we can all create something. He wanted to bring the world together. He was a humanitarian. Absolutely. And I'm speaking on this. I mean, I know that towards the end that there were some things brought against him, and I did not believe that at all. And I remember thinking that back at a time, and I felt his connection of gratitude for seeing his truth. I think we all have different truths here, and that's okay. But my truth is that he was this beautiful being, and he came here for a purpose, to shine his light and to bring love to us through dance, through music. And I think there were people in his industry that didn't like that and set him up. That's all I'm going to say about that. So when I connect to him, all I can feel is beauty. Beauty for everything on this earth. That he saw beauty in many. He did see beauty in what he was doing. It just got harder because outside forces. But, I think this movie focusing on that initial part was remember this, remember this. And I'm going to say, when you do talk to souls that have passed, a lot of them say, please don't remember, when I was fighting cancer. Please remember the good times. Remember when I was full of life, when I had this magic within me. That's what the souls say. If you've had somebody passed, please remember them in those times. I know for my mom passed, that was a big key for her. Remember that. Don't remember me being sick. Remember me being full of life. Remember those times. And he's saying the same. Remember. And there's a lot of healing to take place on this earth. But I fully feel that we are capable. We are capable of so much. He was one man, we are many. And there's so much we can do. And bringing forth that youthfulness of ourselves, that inner child, the way of playing, the way of coming back to ourselves, that raises the frequency. And especially when we're out in nature, especially when we're in groups of people, especially when we were with the children and the animals. There is a reason that I'm always there. I mean, he had some pretty cool animals. I'm not going to go over those. I'll stick with my horses and my dog. But yeah, Bubbles. And the snake, the giraffe, the llama. You know? And I felt, he could communicate with them. We can communicate with animals. We have to be open to it. We have to be able to receive that. There's magic there. Where do you see the magic in your life? Where do you see the magic within yourself? If you're watching this, I'm assuming you're a Michael Jackson fan. What did he bring out in you? Joy, love, peace. You know, there was definitely a fun side to him. You know, what is he inspiring you to do? I just think we need to see beyond just even that he was just this superstar. That he was a very kind and gentle man. You know, I've talked in previous videos about the iceberg effect. You know, the iceberg, you only see that little small thing, but what's underneath? What was underneath for him? You know, what motivated him? That movie, it activated me. I think it did for many of us. Let us start dancing again. Let us start singing again. Let us connect back to this earth, back to each other. And I'm just feeling so much love right now. And he's, you know, I feel that from him as well. Just so much love, you know, and appreciation. And I think about my own videos, as small as they are, and they're just me. They're nothing fancy. You know, me singing. Oh, actually, I did my first car video I did when I was singing was Beat It with Michael Jackson. Yeah, just sing in your car. Dance wherever. Go to a playground. Have fun. Play with the hose in your yard. I have all these videos of these great ideas. They're meant to inspire you. In a simple way. It's still very beautiful and it's still very impactful if you allow it to be. So where can you, in your life, bring the joy back? Bring the peace within. Be playful. Be fun. I love the scene where he's in the toy store. He's getting all these toys. And then he's like with the Nerf gun at his bodyguard. I'm like, oh, the Nerf gun. Oh, I'd like to play with the Nerf gun. Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. And it's interesting, at some point, they were talking, because I've listened to interviews and stuff since, or before I watched it. And they were saying, like, he would, you know, get up in the middle of the night whenever an idea hit him. You know, because he's like, we got to do it now. And it's funny, that's last night before bed, I was journaling, and actually I had this feeling that I was going to be called to, and that was my questions. What are you being called to do? Question mark. That was my last thing I wrote. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was like, you need to talk about this movie. And yet with the presence of Michael, of allowing him in this space, and having connected to him before in what I've received, like whether it was through words or through his energy of what I was receiving. But when I connect to his energy, it is very high frequency, it is very playful, and there's so much love there. And you can receive that too. You can receive that too. Is like, just open your heart to this. Open your heart to it. And look deeper at what's being told in that movie, of his connection to animals, of being in Peter Pan. He's going to create magic. And him visiting all those kids in the hospital. He had this beautiful presence. And not all was as seemed as I am hearing. He had many battles. And it became a weight, became heavy for him at times. And he couldn't sustain this heaviness. And that was sad for him. His heart was heavy at times. Very youthful, like not understanding how people could do things. And even now, we that's, I think a lot of us can feel that. But it's like a remembrance of, like, like there is a point at somewhere, it's love over fear. What do we choose? Where do you want to live from? What inspires you? I just loved it. I'll have to watch it again. To be honest, I think there's more in there. And I truly felt the connection, and I could see myself in certain, like what I explained before, in certain ways. And I mean, obviously not to the degree, but there was something about speaking about this for me. I mean, and I'm going to say most of the videos, especially in the last few weeks, which I've done quite a few, is speaking my truth and being in discomfort about it and being vulnerable with it. And that, is very important on my journey. As much as I love doing those joyful, playful videos, and I know that I'll be doing more, is also honoring this aspect of myself, that there's this deeper version of myself that needs to be shown. And that it's not just me, yes, it's me being silly, but there's a purpose. Like, there's, it's a frequency, it's an energy. And so this is what I want to bring into the world. This is how I want to live my life. And if there was many of me, then we're bringing a lot of love and joy and peace and wisdom into this world. Is that not important? Like, it is everything, I think. If we all did, acts of kindness, of really being fun, of like connecting to people in a fun way or a deeper way, like of being able to go to people from an open heart. Let's dance more, let's sing more, You don't even have to sing. You don't even really have to dance in the sense of you don't have to be good at it. Just do it. Right? I truly feel that this movie came out at a time that we need this reminder. And I just think it's so fitting that Michael Jackson is doing that. That he gets this opportunity even though he's not on this planet. He has so much love for this planet. And you know, he it's almost like that another opportunity for him to remind people to bring back to that light and to that love and to be in that space. And I truly hope that you from even just listening to me is like, okay, yeah, like this is my opportunity to come back to myself, to find that inner child, to play, or to heal myself, the shadow and the light. You know, maybe I black or white, like go color based, and not in a way of embracing both. We should not separate it. The shadow and the light are meant to intertwine. They are meant to be both of us. We're meant to be acceptance of all. And first it's within ourselves. Can you accept those things within yourself? Those wounds, right? Because when we don't, we project it onto others. And what we want to do is bring it back to us. Like, we need to heal ourselves so we are at a better place where we can love, where we can open our heart, that we come in connection to create something beautiful on this earth. That's what I do. And honestly, I think we've gotten away from that. I think the last 5 years have been just everybody's like butting heads. Everything, you know, I think COVID was the start of it. It was just people were like, you know, I have to be right. I have to be right. This is my truth. That's my truth. And I really feel in this moment is that we can come back together, but we have to choose ourselves first. Can you do that? You know, I mean, I think the things I'm doing is not just for me, is you know, for my kids and their kids and the future generations, and not just for my family, for all families. So thank you, Michael. You know, and to have that reminder. I know what's important. I know how I want to live my life. And I will continue doing my videos based on that, living my authentic self in playful ways, in joyful ways, and showing the other side of that. Yeah, I have shadows, and I'll go into them. I'll be in them. Right? And I think we all have light and love in us, just like Michael Jackson does. And if you're drawn to him, it's because you want that light and love, and you can be that in your own way. And I think if that feels like really the message. Whatever he inspires in you is within you, and can you live from there? I definitely saw aspects of myself in him, and I will continue to do that. I will continue to be in the magic. I will continue to bring peace, love, and joy that's within myself to whoever will receive it. And that is a gift. I hope that you resonated with some of this, and I hope it can inspire you. Yeah. From my heart to yours.